All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about missing space or being able to figure out how much is there. Now, unless you're going to be taking inventory at a restaurant and trying to be really specific in that inventory, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. I can't think of many places for this example. However, in a shop and different places where you have to worry about like fluid, like the hydraulic fluid for the press machines or whatever there could be, this could be actually a pretty lucrative example. What I mean by lucrative is if you don't have the right amount of volume of liquid, keeping that machine oiled up and working properly, that's going to be extremely costly because it will eventually break down. Think about your car. If you don't change the oil, little fun fact, if you don't change the oil in a car, eventually it all burns away. And when it burns away, the metal on metal is not good. It does things like seize, which means it kind of melds together. You'll never be able to use it again. Just saying. So this does have application that could end up costing money. Now, do I worry about the volume of my oil? Kind of, but I literally have a measure. It's called a dipstick. You dip it in, pull it out, and see where you're at. But if you're creating the car, you have to know where that dipstick is measuring. How in the world can you be measuring the oil level that's throughout the entire car to see if it's proper? Anyway, they're using the idea of salsa to be able to do this. The main thing that we're concentrating on is how do we find the volume of used or empty space? And that's the skill that we want to be able to bring forward here. And here they're using salsa as an example. Because that might be something you look at every day and become curious about, like, hey, I bet you I can find the area or volume of that if I want to. So how much salsa is missing becomes the question. So we have to actually find the volume of two pieces. We have to find the volume of the whole jar, and we have to find the volume of the salsa. And then we have to take the volume of the whole jar minus the volume of the salsa, and that's going to equal the volume of the missing jar. Let me erase that. There we go, volume of the missing. All right, so let's start out by finding the volume of the jar. The good news is that the jar and the salsa share the same base shape. So when we find the base for one, we're going to find the base for all. We've got a circle here, and here's a center point all the way to the right. So this is called a radius. So we get to use that. Awesome. We know we need that because it's a circle. So the volume of the whole jar is going to be, the height is going to be 10. So we've got the area, pi r squared, times our height, which was 10. So this is 25 pi times 10, which is 250 pi. Then we need to find the volume of our salsa. Well, we're using the same circle. So I can actually start with the volume, there we go. The volume being 25 pi, 25 pi. Now I just have to figure out what my difference in height is. Well, the height of the salsa is 4, so that's what I'm multiplying by here. So I get 4 times 25, which is 100 pi. Now, just like any variable, when I have like variables, I can add or subtract their coefficients. So what that means is I can take the volume of my whole jar, just like I have here, minus the volume of my salsa. And that is going to get me the volume of my missing. So I'm going to take 250 pi and I'm going to go ahead and subtract 100 pi, and what I'm going to get is 150 pi. Now, it does not tell me in this problem to go ahead and use 3.14 as pi, so I'm actually just going to label this with centimeters, because that's the measurement it had, and then I'm going to cube it because it's volume, and this is my answer. This is what's called in terms of pi. So I've written my answer in terms of pi to be 150 pi centimeters cubed, or cubic centimeters. So the area, or the volume of the missing space is here. This is all the volume I just found, right there. The salsa was this by itself. And the volume of the whole was the whole jar. What's the volume of this whole jar here? I'm not gonna color it in, just outline it. So what we had to do, again, was we had to find the volume of the whole jar, and then we had to subtract out the volume. Let's undo that, do a little bit better erasing, hopefully. We had to subtract out the volume of the salsa, and all that is left is the volume of the empty space. All right, guys, stay safe out there. Till next time.